There's this guy named Demetrius who is a silversmith, and so he would make idols that people would put in their homes. When Paul and Silas were in Ephesus, they were preaching the gospel, people were being converted, people were throwing away their idols. So the silversmiths, they were losing all of their business. And so this guy, Demetrius, started getting all of the silversmiths together, and they began protesting in the streets of Ephesus. That's right. Protests are not a new thing. Even more surprising than that, it's that people who protested in Ephesus, many of them didn't know why they were protesting. So we see these protests going on in our day, and there are so many people who get out, who raise their red flag so that they can fit in, and they have no idea why they are protesting or what they are protesting or measures they could take to fix the problems that they see in the world. They just haven't thought about that. They just see this thing is wrong. I'm going to protest. I'm going to raise my voice with everybody else. But then you begin asking them, why are you protesting? And it's not really a question that most of the protesters today can answer. The same thing was going on in Ephesus. Get this. So it started off, the silversmiths are getting angry because people are converting to Christianity, worshiping a God that is not made by human people, so they are losing all of their business. Acts chapter 19, verse 32. Meanwhile, some were shouting one thing and some another because, here it is, the assembly was in confusion, and most of them did not know why they had come together. Then some of the crowd gave Alexander advice when the Jews pushed him to the front. So, motioning with his hand, Alexander wanted to make his defense to the people. But when they recognized that he was a Jew, a united cry went up from all of them for about 2 hours. Great is Artemis, the goddess that they were worshiping, of the Ephesians. All right, so when Jesus comes in, when the gospel is impacting a community, here's what happens. Jesus takes that community and he flips that thing upside down. Things are no longer centered around people. All of a sudden, people are worshiping Jesus. Jesus is preeminent, and there are many, many, many people who have a problem with that. It impacts businesses. It impacts politics. It impacts our entire infrastructure when Christ moves a people. Thing is, we as Christians, we don't want to interrupt the status quo. We don't want to rock the boat. But brothers and sisters, to share the message of Jesus is to literally take what the world has built and just flip that upside down. It is to take a system, popular Christianity, that is merely religious even, and flip that upside down. And so people who are merely religious, who aren't really following Jesus, but just claiming the name of Jesus, hoping that somehow that will work, they will be largely upset when Jesus actually begins to move, because Jesus, he interrupts the status quo. He flips human infrastructure upside down, flips human religion, even Christianity, upside down, and calls a people to himself and builds his church, calls his people to this sort of radical living where we're actually benefiting one another, actually worshiping the God of the universe rather than worshiping ourselves. This is what we want, and this is what we say we want, but rarely are we willing to rock the boat. Brothers and sisters, don't be afraid to rock the boat. Speak truth, speak life in love, with gentleness and respect. If nobody listens, nobody listens. But perhaps, through you, Jesus might choose to rock an entire city for his glory and for our good.